home cooking. A lot of complaints from you guys because you don't know when I sit there and make cheese or lighten sugar or how to get a yogurt starter going or not this one, self-rising cornmeal mix. I just got yelled at again, screaming that I just showed, but she saw the short. So I'm going to read some of these off just to help you understand what's really going on here. I'll read actually some of the things that I make myself. If you want to make self-rising cornmeal mix, here is the recipe. It's 2 cups of cornmeal, 8 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2.5 tablespoons of baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Blend all of that together, and that's how you make self-rising cornmeal mix. Now, that's one. Now, if you wish to make biscuit mix, you add 1 cup of all-purpose flour to 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder to 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of oil drizzled in very slowly while you're using a food processor. Because if you pour it in, it'll get lumpy, but if it's spinning when you pour the oil in into a drizzle, you'll notice that it comes just like what you see in the store. Now, if you wish to make self-rising flour, you add I'll just read 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. Now, in Ireland, this is how they make it. They use 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. They leave the salt out and allow you to do it yourself. Now, let me get another one. Everybody gets upset about all of this. Now, if you wish to make cottage cheese, it's 1 gallon of milk to 3/4 of a cup white vinegar, 1 teaspoon salt, and 1/2 a cup of heavy or light cream according to what you like. Now, this is how you put it together since everybody's having problems. You pour the milk into a large, heavy bottom pot. Heat slowly to 150 degrees, stirring regularly so the milk does not burn. Because if you heat it up at the bottom and you don't stir, it'll be cold on top. So by the time you register the temperature on top, it'll be too hot on the bottom and it won't work. You remove it from heat and add the vinegar, stirring a few times. You cover it and let it sit for 30 minutes. Then you line a colander with a double piece of cheesecloth. I used my towels. Place the colander over another bowl to catch the whey. You drain for 30 minutes. Then you gather the ends and tightly together, forming a cloth-wrapped ball. And you run cold water over it, and you're squeezing it at the same time. On the last part of rinsing it like that, you squeeze it dry. Then what you do is you dump the cheese into a bowl using a fork to break the cheese up. Add salt, and then you mix, and then add the cream until the desired consistency and let it chill. But you'll also notice as it chills, it absorbs the heavy cream you give it, so you might have to add more according if you want it more dry and more moist. Now, a yogurt starter, for those who want to know. You can use 1 lemon or 1 chili pepper or 9 cardamom seeds. I always use cardamom seeds because it comes out really nice. You boil the milk, then cool in a small bowl. Either cut in the lemon end to end or make a slit in the chili pepper or just leave the seeds, and you have a multiple choice of which one you want to use. I like the cardamom seeds. You pour a small amount of milk in the bowl, and with the cardamom seeds, place them in a small bowl with the milk. The lemon sits. Now, if you're using lemon, the slit side goes into the milk, and it sits for 15 hours. Now, the chili pepper is 12 hours. Now, when thick, you bring 2 cups of milk to a boil, cool to 104 to 108 degrees. Add 2 teaspoons of culture and pour into your yogurt maker. In 8 hours, you will have yogurt. Now, the thing is on this, is that when it gets thick, it takes a couple of days. According if it's a cold day, it takes longer. If it's a hot day, it goes faster. I've had to let it sit for days because it was chilly in the house. And what you do is it almost gets like a custard, and that's when you know they've already started the culture there, and then it's starting to feed it. So to make a new batch, you heat the milk, boil, cool it down to one. In other words, you bring yogurt, you bring it to a boil, and then cool it to 104 to 108 degrees. And then you add 2 tablespoons of a yogurt culture. This will make 4 cups. All right. And then you pour it into a yogurt maker. Now, to make light and dark brown sugar, hello, all of you. So if you're concerned about how to make your light and dark brown sugar, because when you buy it at the store, you'll also notice at the time that after you open it, it goes bad. Well, to make your light brown sugar, you need, for every cup of sugar, you add 1 tablespoon of molasses in it. So use a food processor is really good at this point. Put the sugar in to how many cups you want to make. But for every cup, it's 1 tablespoon. Remember, this makes light brown sugar. You sit there and spin that sugar. You turn the machine on, spin, and you slowly pour in a tablespoon of molasses. Now, when you take it out, you might see some molasses or some lumps of molasses in the sugar. Work it in, put it into a quart jar, and you've got your light brown sugar. You don't have to worry about it going dry and hard and everything else that happens outside. Now, you do the same process if you want dark brown sugar, but you use 2 tablespoons of molasses. This is what I make my light and dark brown sugars. Now, if you want to make ricotta cheese, you need 1 gallon of milk, 2 cups of heavy cream, 1/4 of a cup white vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, you heat the gallon of milk up to 195 to 200 degrees on a medium heat. Make sure you're always stirring it, because if you don't, like I said, it'll be too hot on the bottom and too cold on top. Then you add the vinegar, let it rest 5 minutes. Then strain it for 30 minutes. Then you add your heavy cream and salt. Now, if you want to make farmer's cheese, you need 1/2 gallon of milk, 1/4 of a cup of vinegar, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now this you heat up to 190. Add the vinegar, set for 15 minutes. Add any herbs you want and salt. Strain through a cheesecloth, squeeze liquid out, form a disc, and refrigerator 1 hour. Very easy to make. Okay, let's see. Self-rising flour. I gave you biscuit, didn't I? Did I give you biscuit? Did I put this down? Self-rising flour. Yeah, I gave you this one. Hold on a minute. I've got a lot of them here. Now, if you want to make, now women do this all the time. Women have always made evaporated milk. They've always made condensed milk. These are things that we basically had to learn when I was a little girl. You always couldn't find them in the store. Or if you're cooking and you have the basics, you can make these and you don't have to run to the store and give these companies your money. You could do it yourself. All right, to make evaporated milk or condensed milk, you're going to need milk and you're going to need white sugar for this. To make evaporated milk, you pour milk into a heavy bottom pot. Simmer until reduced by half, then strain through a sieve and use whole milk. Don't use pasteurized milk. Use whole milk. You get a better evaporated milk. I learned that the hard way. Condensed milk, use the best milk you can. You add 2 1/4 cups of milk, 2/3 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon of white sugar. You use a low heat to dissolve all the sugar, then bring to a low simmer, reduce by half. It'll equal to 14 ounces, just like what you get in the can. But remember, women had to learn all these things. This is why I have all this. Now, I have a lot of different recipes. If you want to make half and half, and you don't have any half, and you got a recipe that says, oh God, I need half and half, you only need 3/4 of a cup of milk and 1/4 of heavy cream. Now, if you wish to make a light cream, it's 2/3 cup milk and 1/3 heavy cream. Now, if you wish to make buttermilk, you need 1/2 cup of buttermilk and 3 1/2 cups of milk. Now, how you make buttermilk is you heat the milk, which is 3 1/2 cups, to 80 degrees. You pour it into a jar with the 1/2 cup of buttermilk, and you shake it for 1 minute. Then you undo the lid, You have to undo the lid because it's going to build gas up, and just rest it on the lid, wrap it with some towels, and leave it for 24 hours. If it's chilly in your house, it can take up to 3 days. If it's hot, it could be a lot less. Now, if you like sweet cream, which the old recipes call for all the time, and you will not find sweet cream in the store, it's 2 cups, half and half, a half a cup of sweet condensed milk, and a tablespoon of vanilla. That's for the old recipes. Now, if you want to make a light, heavy cream, it's 2 cups of heavy cream plus 1 cup of milk. These are all ratios and things that women have had to learn all of their lives. No, I haven't. I showed you how to dehydrate. You don't need that. Now, if you like carrot, you know where they got the idea of these creamers? I bet you'll never guess in a million years. Right here. Not this one. Sweet cream is where they got it from. They did not sit there and create these creamers that you see, because my mother, if she made too much of this, she would allow us to put it into our milk, and we would have that, which was a treat. But the thing is that when you read the ingredients on these creamers that you buy for coffee that cost you like $4 or $5, they got the idea from sweet cream, which is 2 cups of half and half, half a cup of sweet condensed milk, and a tablespoon of vanilla. That's where they got the idea, and from there they took off. Now, if you wish to make your caramel coffee creamer, it's a half a gallon of milk, 1.5 quarts of half and half, 2 jars of caramel sauce, 3 cans of condensed milk, which is sweet milk, which you can make on your own if you wish, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, you can pressure this if you wish to can it. You use quart jars, give it a 1-inch headspace. You pressure can it just like you do milk. And how you do that is you sit there and you're starting off with cold, everything is cold. You heat your jars up, sterilize them, and then let them get cold. And then when everything is cold, the water's cold and all, you pack the jars with that, put it into your pressure canner, bring it up to the pressure of your area, be it a 5 psi's or 10 psi's or 15 psi's, according, you have to check that out. As soon as it comes up and it's vents, and you put the little vent on it, as soon as it comes up to the pressure to your area, turn the whole thing off. That's it. You don't pressure can for any amount of time. You just leave it just like that. You just take it back down, just turn it off and let all the pressure come down, take the jars out, and that's how you seal it. That's how you make it. Now, if you wish to make your own hot fudge, like I told you, we had to learn all these things. You use 2 cups of sugar, 2/3 of a cup of cocoa, 6 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons butter, and 2 teaspoons vanilla. You mix all of that. You mix the sugar, the cocoa, the flour, and the salt in a bowl. You heat the milk, butter, and vanilla in a saucepan, then pour over the dry ingredients and mix. That's it. That's how you make hot fudge. So see, you're paying for a lot of this stuff that you could do on your own. Low quality food, just like your vision. Listen, you people are going to be nasty. I'm not going to talk to you. I am reading this to help people who are constantly asking me, how do I do this? What did I do? You know, I'm not explaining myself. They look at the shorts. And another thing is, when I make this stuff, the short is the end product. You look for the video under the same name and you'll find it right there. All right, now if you wish to make your own baking powder, and I make my own baking powder because I didn't want the aluminum, and I noticed at the health food they have other stuff in it that I'm not using and I refuse to use. You need baking powder. Wait a minute, no, you need baking, this is to make baking powder. You need baking soda, cornstarch, and cream of tartar. Now here is the ratio. Remember, everything I'm giving you is ratios. This is how we've learned this. Use 1 part baking soda to 1 part cornstarch and 2 parts cream of tartar. Mix thoroughly. You make your own baking powder and you get away from the baking powder in the store, which has aluminum and other stuff in it that will give you problems with your body. Now, I also make detergent. I make my own detergent because I have a skin problem if I use, because they put so many chemicals into the detergents, I react to all those chemicals. So I have a skin problem when I get close to certain chemicals or from filth. So if you wish to make your own detergent, Arm & Hammer Super Washing Soda, you need a 55-ounce box. 20 Mule Team Borax is 4-pound, 12-ounce box. Arm & Hammer Pure Baking Soda, you need a 4-pound box. Fel Napa soap, you need 3 bars, and you grater those in. Oxide Cleaner Stain Remover Powder, 1.3 pound tub. All right. Now, when you go to do your laundry, now this is the cute part. You think that I'd be using half a cup or something at a time. For heavy soil clothes, you only use 2 tablespoons. But if it's just a regular load, you only need 1 tablespoon per load. So when you make this, you've got like 6 to 8 months of detergent. Now, I hope that answers everybody's question, because everybody keeps on asking me, you didn't give me this. How are we supposed to do this? Da, 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 da. You'll see me as I make these recipes. You see things and you see them in jars and says, how does she make them? That's how I make them. These are my recipes. Self-rising cornmeal mix. I just got yelled at because somebody wanted this recipe too. So that's why I am here explaining, to show you that you can make all of this yourself. The videos, the shorts, everybody sees the shorts. I think YouTube pushes the shorts out. The shorts are the end product of whatever I make. The recipes are those videos. You have to find the videos by the same name to march over, and the videos are there. Now, there are some videos you cannot see because you only subscribe. You have to join to get some of those other videos that I have made. They I consider special. Some of them I have made myself, and some I share, some I don't share. So that's how this works. People want me to do it and put a short hooked up to a video, and why don't I have it together and all of this? But so anyway, you guys are just being nasty today. I am not bothering with you. I am sorry if you don't like that, but you'll get over it. But anyway, I hope that explains how I do this, and that it will show you. You can find everything there. I sat there and I go out of my way to give you all these recipes. I try not to repeat myself, always changing recipes around. Some I've created. I'm not going to tell you which ones I created, and I'm not going to tell you which ones, that I've altered and stuff. But you can make your own cookbooks from it. It's not difficult. We used to write our recipes. My first cookbook was the one that I made. But those are the informations that you guys keep on asking about. I just gave it to you. And for the rest of you, I hope you have a great day, because I am not talking because I can see the sarcasm already. So listen, enjoy your day. Stay dry. We've got a lot of rain today. Bye-bye.